Hello, darling. Hello, everybody. See, we're just producing this show. Mr. Frank Conniff. This is Mother May I podcast with Irene and Frank. Frank, go.
Hi, Irene. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm, hanging in there. Are you? This is what I wanted to ask you, Frank. Are you getting any human contact? Like, are you seeing people face to face at all?
Just the people I see on the street wearing masks.
Yeah.
Other than that, no, I don't really. I see my neighbor Kathleen sometimes, who you know. Yeah.
Yes, I love Kathleen. Now she's like a little party animal. That's right. I do know her. Mm-hmm. Now, do you feel like you're? Because I'm just trying to rope you. I roped you into this, and now I see that you're easy. So what I'm trying to do is rope you into. I'm roping you into the ferry. I know it's a daunting thing to get on the ferry.
I would totally do that.
Wait, so you're saying, am I hearing this? And this is it's recorded. So are you saying that you will get on the ferry now and I can pick you up for the ferry? We can go out to lunch and then.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
it. So we're going to set something up for next week then. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh my God, are we doing a podcast? This is crazy. Or a YouTube channel?
It'll be our birthday get together we talked about.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Frank's birthday is on the 31st. Yay!
No, it's on the 30th.
On the 30th.
And it probably happened already by now, right?
Yeah, it already happened twice because he was already born. Mm-hmm. And with this show, it just has its own like little magical time to drop the EPs. All right, so we've got two people in the studio. I'm going to tell you something. We've got quite the amazing lineup again for this show. And Frank, I mean, you
have amazing friends that you book for this show.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Unbelievable.
Well,
I'm meeting all kinds of celebrated people that I wouldn't have otherwise met, and I'm not even kidding about that. It's the truth.
Well, let me tell you something about Mr. Conniff. You are the most valuable person in my friendship Rolodex, and I don't care who hears it. And secondly, there wouldn't be no show without you, and everybody ends up liking you better than me, as it turns out.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Of course it's true. Why else would I say it? Okay, I need some confidence over here. Okay, so I'm letting them know this is the kind of show that we have. I always have to, sort of like produce. I'm wearing a lot of hats here, but I do want to go ahead and just give a brief intro to the people coming on. This person, we have two guests that are celebrated, as Frank said. One is one of my closest friends, a dear friend. You might know her from the band Luscious Jackson. She was, and I will always say this, goddammit, she is the Luscious in Jackson. She really is. She played guitar. She also is the badass musician that does the intro to this goddamn YouTube channel show. Her music is the thing that sets us off and puts us in this crazy, fire-filled, mood. Her song is called Balls Out. She's also working on her own solo project. She is the niece. Of course, it's got to be in the DNA because she is the niece of the late, great Milton Glaser. Frank, we discussed about this, who recently passed away, Milton Glaser. And then we also have on the show with us today the wonderful, amazing comic, Mr. DC Benny. You've seen him on Comedy Central Presents. You've seen him on Last Comic Standing, and he is just an outstanding, beautiful person as a whole. I'm going to bring them on because I'm sick of hearing myself talk mostly. Here we go, and here we go. And here we are. Oh, right. DC Benny.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing?
How you guys doing?
Oh, it's so good to see you, sweetie.
Oh, it's good to see you too. How are you?
I'm doing good. Oh, and there she is, the one, the only.
Oh, Gabby Glaser.
Gabby Glaser. I know it. I just want everybody, DC, you know Frank, right?
Yeah, hey Frank.
Yeah, sure. How you doing? Yeah,
awesome. Gabby, I want you to meet the one and only Mr. Frank Conniff. This is the one and only Gabby Glaser.
It's a delight to meet you.
So Gabby had one special request when it came to doing this podcast. She said, and this is like this because I was going to ask DC to do it anyway, but if I can get two for the price of one, fuck it, I'm all in because we both love DC Benny. And here we all are. Guys, how are you handling the new world?
Gabby?
Gabs?
I'm more of a listener today. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you're not,
DC,
because
how's it going? How are you handling it? I can barely hear you. I think I better turn off my air.
You just went back again. DC, I know that you're doing a lot of renovations on your house, right? I mean, I'm following this shit. I'm trying to learn a thing or two.
Yes. I've been keeping myself busy doing renovations, and I got a tick, so that was exciting because I had a whole potential Lyme disease meltdown, and I thought I'd never had a tick before, so I thought I've seen everything. But
Lyme disease is so old school.
I know
it's retro.
Well, I know. I got to research it.
Yeah.
Well, Gabby can tell you everything there is about Lyme disease. This is your moment to shine, sweetie. Lyme disease. Come on.
Shine my life story. Well, yeah, I got it many years ago, and it really sucks. You got to get checked twice, though. The first time you go on your antibiotics, and you think it's gone, but it's really not, because they have co-infections, or it's called borealis. There's all these co-infections that happen when you get Lyme.
Oh.
And then if you don't get it, take 2 courses, you could end up like really bad, like IV. Fluids.
Or then you can have a horrible yeast infection, because that's a lot of antibiotics.
That's what I usually get.
Yeah, I thought so, DC. I did. DC, every time I see you, all I remember is when we shot that pilot and I was playing. You remember we went into a restaurant and you had a knife in your pocket and I was playing your wife, and Joey Gay was in this too. Do you remember any of this?
Oh, that was the hidden camera thing. We did a hidden camera thing.
The hidden camera thing.
And I demanded reservations. We had fictitious reservations, and you were my wife, and I was like, I was here from Saudi Arabia or something. Like, where is my reservation? I want it now. I want it now. Yeah. It was that was a lot of fun. We shot a lot of stuff together. It was great.
Yeah, it's really great. You were always working so hard in the business, and I guess that's what we have to do. Frank is like a fucking book machine over here. Every time I mention writing a book, I think I mentioned writing a screenplay before I could blink. Frank had a goddamn book about writing a cheesy screenplay. You're always busting your ass. And Gabby over here, the Luscious and Jackson. That's how I brought you on. The Luscious and Jackson. And I said, you know what? It just runs in your DNA, because I don't know if you guys know this, but Milton Glaser was Gabby's uncle, the late great.
Wow. We had a whole discussion when Irene first told me that, because I've known about Milton Glaser for years. I grew up reading New York Magazine, and in that world of 60s journalism and graphic design, so I was really amazed to know that now I know someone that's related to Milton Glaser.
Right. I almost feel like I can die happy. Like that painting.
I can't believe I even know him either.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him do, they just put a book out, him and his partner, called Mag Men. And he told a lot of funny stories, him and his partner, that like you'd be surprised of knowing, like something to do with Pinky Tuscadero from Happy Days. Like,
wow. That's a name you don't hear often anymore.
Wow.
So is this a book called Mag Men that's out that people can buy? Because I'm going to go buy it immediately after this podcast.
So basically she got hired to take photographs of Jimi Hendrix for the magazine. I think it was New York. It was New York Magazine. I'm not sure which one of the projects they were working on, him and Walter Bernard. So they hired her. I think it was her. Excuse me if I'm wrong I'm pretty sure it's her. It was definitely like someone from Happy Days. I think it was her though. Anyway, they hired her to be a photographer to try to get Jimi Hendrix like on the cuff outside the hotel, Chelsea Hotel, I think. So they gave her the assignment. And the next day she came up with a photo of him in bed. So that's what happened there.
Wow, I think I know that photo.
So obviously she had a fun night with Jimmy.
Oh yeah.
What?
Wow, that's amazing. See,
so that was a really funny story that I never knew. I mean, Milton had they had Milton's life was as full as can be.
Was he like a
There's still so much more to know about him.
One of the things that really struck me, Gabby, is when I was talking to you on the phone yesterday, you said that, Milton, has gotten us through the hard times in the city by, keeping our morale up with the I Love New York. I'm wearing the shirt right here. You know what I love about this podcast? I'm in my underwear right now. Okay. It's just,
wow, that's what I love about it too.
You could just let your shit, you just breathe out all that stuff. But one of the things that I love about him is that he always kept the morale up. And you said that during this COVID period, he was working on what? He was working on something, you said.
Well, he wanted to bring the city together during this because that's what he does, Mm-hmm. Well, you talked about I Heart New York, you also talked about your husband being a fireman. And so right after 9/11, he had to do something, Milton.
That's
so what he did was, as we all know, that he did I Heart New York more than ever. And that got, reproduced everywhere. I'm sure, Frank, you remember this in the city.
Sure.
Posters of that everywhere. And it made everyone feel good, Yeah. So it's really odd that this is all happening. It's odd that he passes this year when we're in the same kind of situation as like big, especially now with the pandemic, the urban,
Well, it's such
the 70s did that to the.
Yeah. I was about to say that, what's happening now obviously is on a whole other scale, but in the 70s, people forget that people were ready to write off New York and say that New York was finished. And,
Mm-hmm.
It was bankrupt and the city was, it had gone to shit and there was not a lot of pride about it. And what he did with the I Love New York campaign was one of the things that helped bring it all back. And I think it's important to remember that kind of spirit now, because believe me, back then, it's worse now, but back then people really thought New York was a hopeless case.
Mm-hmm. But what makes me nervous is that New York is now in trouble and Milton passed away this year. So that's kind of symbolically scary too. DC, I know that I want to make sure that everybody has equal time to talk. DC, I'm going to tell you something. During this whole time, with the way it's been so gloomy, I actually laugh and love and tune into your posts just to get some joy, which is who you are as a comic. You've always been. Not only are you incredibly talented, incredibly good looking, incredibly sweet and kind, and helped so many comics along the way. You will fucking take this compliment. You will swallow this goddamn compliment, okay? But even during a pandemic, you are just you're like the loveliest, sweetest, always spreading joy. Not like me. I'm like, sometimes I'm spreading some serious rant and anger, but not you. You're always spreading joy, like a renovation or a funny video. Is that what's keeping you going during this time?
Yeah, I've just been, listen, this whole thing's been very stressful, obviously, for everybody. New York's supposed to have been dead. I don't know how many times now. Now it's supposed to be dead again. And there's, no work. And so I've just been, I've tried to turn what I've been doing into some, make little funny posts. I've been working on these funny stories and posting them online, and people like them, people like them, and they're raw and they're not finished, and there's this and they're not totally whatever, but it's been good. And work, doing stuff around the house, and
Your wife loves you for that. Happy belated anniversary, by the way. She loves you for that. Now, are you doing any stand-up these days? Are you doing the parking lot shows or the Zoom shows at all?
I think I've done a few of these Zoom shows.
Uh-huh.
I have not jumped into the parking lot thing because we just coincidentally moved out of Brooklyn out to way out here in Long Island. So we had nothing to do with we just, just to lower overhead and everything. We
socially distance from society. You were already ahead of the curve. I like this.
But I've been busier than I've ever been. I'm going to do more of these Zoom shows, I think. And I just shot a season of Supermarket Sweep for ABC.
Wow.
So I just got back from Los Angeles and did that. And I have an album coming out and a special coming out in October.
Wow.
So, but I haven't been doing anything stand-up wise. So I'm just, I'm wasting away and disintegrating,
You're not wasting away.
Was Supermarket Sweep, was that done since the pandemic?
That was done during it, right when New York started coming out of it. LA was the hot spot, and Leslie Jones called me up and said, "Hey, do you want to do this?" being, you know, a cast member on this thing, you know, which never happens. You know, comedians never look out. There's no, you know, so I said, yeah, I'll do it. And it was, you know, there was COVID tests every day, every other day.
Right.
And it was a lot of, but it was 15 days out there, and she hosted the shit out of that show.
Wow.
And I play basically a cashier who is who thinks he's the most interesting man in the world, and it's kind of has subversive dialogue. But it was. I'm glad that's done, and now we'll see how it turns out. I think it's going to be kind of cool. It's a fun show.
How can it not be with you in it, sweetie? How can it not be? I swear to God, DC, it couldn't happen to a nicer person. I'm happy to hear that. And I hear these crazy stories. We're not doing absent stand-up. There's like so much to do. Now, Gabby, you, right before the pandemic, you had like a big show that I was going to come to, bitch. I was all excited about this at Mercury, and that got canceled. But you've been working on some other stuff. Tell us about what you've been working on. Your solo stuff, sweetie. Go, girl.
I wouldn't say a big show, but we were definitely rehearsing for it for a few months, and we're psyched to do it. You know, we're going to open for this Scottish band, APB, and my friend Josephine, she's from the band The Breeders, a great band, so she was going to play bass, and that almost happened. But you know, we're going to make a record. I've been working with this woman Liz for a long time, and I know I got a lot of things that will hopefully come out at some point. You know.
Right. Well, I'm gonna say this because I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Like, I loved you. I always say that you were like the heart of Luscious Jackson. That's my personal opinion, right, DC? And absolutely. I don't know, Frank, I don't know if you're familiar with the band, but I know you would agree with me if you were. Like, Gabby, your lyrics, she's almost thinks like a comic. I always say to Gabby, you are like a brilliant joke writer, and you are a brilliant lyricist. And so she brought this thing. So I think the fact that you're doing your own stuff now, don't do this. Do this, okay? The fact that you're doing your own stuff now. The fact that
you're here for me for more support, kind of like guide me.
Well, I wanted DC on anyway, but if I could get the two. But if I could, everybody loves DC.
I got a question for you, Irene. So you're in our video City Song from like 27 years ago, okay?
My biggest fucking credit, okay? And let me tell you something. No matter what I do in comedy, that 5 seconds of me in the halter top got me noticed through Greenwich Village the whole goddamn time. Wow. Everybody would say, is that you in the halter top? I'd be like, yeah, that's me. It was shot by Tamara, what's her name? Tamara from CB4?
Tamara Davis, yeah.
Yes, that's
Great
right.
Director, yeah.
Great director. Yeah, that 5 seconds.
How come you look exactly the same, if not better now? Like, that's
amazing.
Just kind of annoying to me.
It's amazing.
Like, there's no aging there in 27 years.
None at all.
He has a painting that ages.
What, Frank?
What's going on? Frank, don't give away my secrets. He said, I have a painting that ages. Frank, you crack me up. I actually do. It's in the closet. Gabby, you're deflecting. I don't like it. Listen to me.
And Irene also sang backup on one of our songs called Friends.
I brag about that. I brag about that. Tell them who I'm backup with. This is amazing. It was me.
Oh, Kim. Well, it was from the WNBA. Kim. Oh, what was her like? Kim Hampton from the WNBA. She came and sang backup too.
That's right.
And it was really fun.
Wait, wasn't Deborah Harry somehow involved, like doing like a riff or something? Or is this like a wild rumor I've been spreading?
She sang, Debbie Harry sang, but not on that song. She sang on another song. Fantastic Fabulous, yeah.
Wow. Okay. I don't know.
It's a better story if Deborah Harry sang on that song. So stick with that, Irene.
I almost feel like somebody just fucking stripped me of a trophy. Anyway, I can't have accolades taken away, fuckers. All right, let's just make that abundantly clear. So everybody, you've got the kid at home, Gabby. How's that panning out? Her beautiful son, Nico. What are you anticipating for the September school year? Are you just mad like every other parent?
I always admire teachers, but once you're at home with them, trying to get them to do their work and go to the next class and focus, you realize that, just holy shit, honestly. The pandemic was like, for school, it was really, really hard. But it was, I think we really benefited, me and my son, at like, I helped him with school way more because I could be here with him. But he needed it, so, and then even just the extra time here in the house, listening to records and playing cards and dominoes and just, we definitely had some good times, especially in the first few months of the pandemic. Now it's getting a little crazy because it's been so many months. But yeah, school, I don't want to, like, teachers, I want to, I think remote learning still until we really feel confident about, I don't want the teachers risking their lives. Obviously, I don't want Nico getting sick, having him getting sick, so, pretty crazy shit.
It's some crazy shit. DC, do you feel safe, even if comedy clubs opened up again? Do you feel like you're in a safe place to go, or is that like something that's disconcerting for you?
I don't know. After a round trip flight to LA and being on that set for 15 days or whatever, I feel
What's that like?
It was just so. It was crazy because there was a nurse coming up. A nurse practitioner, like 6 feet, and somebody's always pointing a gun at like the
temperature
thermometer thing, the temperature thing, or whatever. So I don't know. The thing is, I can't. I think about comedy clubs and I miss them and I miss being in them and all that stuff. And I don't know. We go to the supermarket, you wear the mask, and I don't know what to think about it all. I hopefully.
It feels.
I don't know. It's strange. It is a little scary going back to
too soon. It feels as has been said about many of my jokes, too soon. It feels like it's too soon to go back. We all desperately want to, and I want to do live shows again, and but it just seems like we're not there yet. And one of the things. Our current government has been trying to do is rush people back out into the world to create the illusion that everything is okay again, and you can't just get by on the illusion of it. It's not true. We're not ready yet, and that's my take on it. But I really feel for parents with kids who have to work and they have to have their kids be taken care of during the day. It's a really horrible dilemma. So I can't speak for anyone else, but I just think for me personally, like I'm not ready to go into a comedy club. Some of the comedy clubs, I'm surprised I didn't get COVID even before the pandemic started because they're not.
I remember joking about it when it started, like this is some bullshit, and I was doing like a COVID dance, like coughing to your elbow, cha cha cha, don't touch my face, ta da da da, and then a week later it just got all shut down.
Yeah, I did a show at the Alamo Draft House in Brooklyn, the live movie riffing show that I do with my friend Trace Beaulieu, and the next day all of the theaters were closed. We literally got in the last day before they shut everything down, and I miss it. I miss it a lot, but I don't think
not that much that you're gonna jump prematurely.
And I would love I would love to have I'd love to have the experience of bombing in a parking lot. That's never happened to me before.
That's like a whole other level. Exactly. DC, I'm not going to lie. And I've said this, and other comics have said this, and other performers. I was thinking, God damn it, I wish every fucking club would just close down so I could get like 5 minutes of rest. Because at one point, and then you have this narcissism. Oh my God, that's just not what I meant. But everybody at some point said, I want to spend more time with my kids. I want to be at home more. I want to be able to pay attention to these projects. I want to do this. I want to do that. And it feels like collectively, I'm not saying we asked for this. We didn't ask for this, but we are, the human race.
I've said this before, but even before this all happened, I was always a person who tended towards isolation, who tended be shy and not particularly social,
Right.
and spend a lot of time in isolation. Now it's like I'm in a Twilight Zone episode, getting my ironic comeuppance.
Yeah. It's definitely bizarre. I am a people person, but I'm not going to lie. It's been kind of fun for a little while. It was fun until I wanted to stab Steve and end up on that show. What is it called? Wives with Knives on Investigative Discovery. But I definitely do miss the kind of like going out and interaction. I know a lot of people really, really miss performing. I miss performing when I'm on stage, but I don't miss a lot of other elements pertaining to performing.
I miss, I miss New York being, really vibrant and alive with everybody out in restaurants, and clubs and outdoor cafes.
Not the same.
And I don't even have to be a part of any of that. I just want that to be going on.
Right.
And just the idea that it's not going on, the idea that you're in New York City on a Saturday night and all the bars and all the restaurants and all the clubs and all the theaters aren't filled with people, and they aren't spilling out into the street afterwards to have dinner. The knowledge that that's not going on has been very depressing to me.
Right. It's it's the city that it's kind of shut down right now, but it is a different world. And there's always I haven't done any of the Zoom shows. Like I was saying, I just feel awkward not doing something in front of a live audience. And the parking show. How many people do you think are fucking during those shows in the parking lot? The cars.
In the car.
Let's be honest, or giving a little handy. Something's going on. I don't think they're fully going to be focused. Let's be honest. All right. I haven't seen it, but I don't know how that works. That feels like, for me, after so many years of doing the crappiest shows on the planet, and DC, this is true because we go way, way back, okay? The crappiest shows on the planet, the fact that I would have to subject myself to something where you don't get the instant gratification where you can hear it loudly, not saying that I'm killing every time, but it feels like, oh my God, I don't know if I could get myself there to do that.
Also,
it feels like I'm recalibrating some stuff internally.
I think it would, would be a new experience to perform in a parking lot, and instead of audiences walking out on me, them driving out on me.
Yeah.
I would probably cause a traffic jam with people trying to leave the parking lot
at the same time, right? It's crazy. How about you, Gabs? Do you miss live performances?
I haven't done it in a long time, and no, I don't. Don't really miss that. But you know what? I love it when I do it, but I'm so nervous before I do it that
Hot
haven't done
flash.
it in so long, 3 years.
Has it been 3 years, really? So you're almost like, it's like you've gotten past, like I said, I don't mind the actual, I like performing, but I don't like having to drive from Staten Island. I've gotten my car towed many times. I've gotten tickets, finding parking, like all those other little things, that occupy a lot of time getting to the gig. Those things I could eliminate, which puts us right at Zoom. So I don't know why the fuck I'm complaining. I should do Zoom shows because I never have to leave the house. It's right there. I could just get on the computer and do a show.
So it's able to watch it. I mean, doing the shows are fine. I'm sure DC, you miss it. DC actually I played a solo show at Union Hall, and I asked him to open the old days. I think George Carlin
I remember that.
Open for bands.
Sure.
Remember that, DC?
Right, but then I feel like there was something where someone else thought maybe the material might be offensive or something, or it would have meant someone would get their feelings.
No,
hurt.
I put my request in. I wanted
you
the one
tried for me.
Yeah, that hard on for a week or something.
We talked about that in our yoga class.
Oh yeah, that you guys are in yoga together. Tell me about that. We had a great
yoga class.
So what do you guys do in Brooklyn? Yeah. Yoga?
That's so fun.
You guys actually do yoga together? DC,
Gabby
good?
turned me on to this class. She told me about this guy, and it was great. And I get very bored in those classes. I don't like doing them, but afterwards it feels great once you're done. But this guy was great, and Gabby was kind of tuned in. Then you told me about another guy, and that guy was great too. And we did, and then we would have our yoga conversations afterwards. We talk about how you playing a little music, you telling some jokes, blah, blah, blah. We should go get something to eat, maybe collaborate on something, and then that would be it. And then we see each other in the neighborhood. But how's the neighborhood now? I haven't been there in so long. What's it like over there?
It's really depressing, DC. I can't believe you left. I mean, I believe you left because you were going to leave before the pandemic, but I keep thinking I'm going to run into you and your dog and your wife, and that sucks.
Wow, DC, how could you?
Hey,
he's got space now. He's got space. He's a big shot, right? So DC, tell us about, so you have an album dropping. That's so exciting. When did you shoot that? Is that something you shot like a few months ago?
It's been a while. We've been sitting on it for a while. That's going to be in, what is it? That's September 29th. That's coming out.
Wow. Okay. Awesome.
And it's all stories, it's all stories. It's an album of stories. It's called Adrift in Predicaments. And it's got a photo my grandfather took of me when I was a baby in the bathtub, and I just discovered my penis, and I was like playing with it. Wow. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And that's the
oh my God, that's a great. Oh my God, I love that.
And then the special comes out. They pre-sale. It comes out October 6th, and with all things comedy, and that's Bill Burr's company, and he's gonna, so that's good. It's but we've been sitting on this stuff for a while, so now we're finally getting it together. And,
but I would think that's like a really good time for you right now, right? Because so many people are remote, they're at home, and the time might have been. I think now we need to hear stories in particularly. I think this will resonate with people.
Knock on wood, hopefully from your mouth to the comedy gods. Go ahead, Gabby.
Aren't you making a book too? Writing a book as well? Because your stories, I got to put this on speaker because I can't really hear. I'm like,
I did. I wrote one, but I couldn't get it sold. You got to have the, this huge platform of people. So I've been chopping it up, and then I did get a story published, a Brooklyn crime story, which was kind of cool in Mystery Tribune, which just came out actually yesterday.
Nice.
So that's cool. A little Brooklyn crime story,
Where can we see that? Like, do you have a website where we can?
Instagram, at the Real DC Benny on Instagram is going to have all the little links. And
no fake bullshit. Like, you should talk to Mr. Conniff over here. He's got this guy bangs out a book every other, I don't know, so fast. It's crazy.
Man, I'm banging something.
He's banging.
But I saw my solution is I self-publish, and there is like a small audience of people who read my stuff, and it makes for great merchandise at my live shows. So I have like my own little mom and pop store with my own stuff, and it works pretty well. Oh, that's
where can we find that?
Well, you can find my books at Amazon. Just just type my name in, and you'll find them. They're all there, and you can get them on Kindle too. And
it's becoming a do-it-yourself world.
Everything.
You know what I'm talking about, and everybody here, I'm going to say, has always done it themselves anyway. Yeah. Like, since I met you, you were always. I also remember doing an animation thing with you and Dean Edwards. I mean, like, you were always working on something. You were always like, Irene, can you play? And I'm like, absolutely, I'm in. Fuck it, yes, absolutely. Where do I sign up?
Always great in those things.
Always ready. Me, Jess Wood. We were your two bitches. Rachel Feinstein. We were always ready to work. And same with Frank and even Gabby when it comes to music and stuff. And I myself always, no one's going to come in and save the day. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it seems like, all of a sudden, DC, like you said, what's happening? I'm getting this. I was just shooting this. But think about all the seeds you've been planting all this time. You know what I mean? And
all the years of shooting shit that went absolutely nowhere, but it's great to look at now. It's great to look back at. Everybody's all young. You, of course, never changed in any of it. You always look like you're 22.
I'll tell you, it always made me so happy because you were one of the people in comedy that always brought people together. See, DC and I met. We used to do a show at the Zinc Bar. Yep, where I used to bartend. It was a jazz bar.
And that's where I met Gabby, too.
And that's where you met Gabby. That's where you met Gabby. And DC, he is the pioneer of storytelling. I'm just going to fucking say it the way it is, DC. No one was doing storytelling. You were the one doing storytelling, because now storytelling, i.e. your album dropping on the 29th, is becoming explosive. I mean, they are storytelling, and it will. I know it's going to do great. You waited, and the time is now. But I did one of the very first few girl shows with a few sensitive men, called Hysteria, and that's how I met probably, I would say, 90% of the comics when I started doing comedy, you know?
And you packed that thing out. It was a great, the Zinc Bar was fantastic.
My secret?
You packed it out.
My secret?
Yeah.
Ladies?
I know what your secret is. Yeah.
You remember my secret. I was like, you better wear I don't care. I want to see cleavage, and I want this out. Don't come with some weird turtleneck to my show. You understand?
No malakas. No malakas.
Don't be a malaka on me, all right? I want to see some cleavage. Anyway, so yeah, we've all been, and of course, Frank, who's been working on his stuff, waits for nobody. And these are the people that inspire me anyway. You know what I mean? This is what I get inspired by. And now the world is turning to, evolving to the point where we are just our own little mini producers. I'm a horrifying producer, but we put our own stuff, and we don't have to wait on anybody. Right?
Yeah, that's the way to do it, I think. Just put your stuff out in the world.
Put your book out like Frank did, DC. I mean, he's actually doing really well with his books. That's the way to do it,
is that self-publishing. That's the way to go. I
think, and if you start doing stand-up shows again, then you can sell the books at your shows and stuff. It's.
And your books,
you're such a great. He's an amazing writer. Like if you I've seen your stuff on Facebook, I guess, DC, but you learn so much about him and his childhood and the craziness that happened to you.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I never knew.
It's great, but you got to see Frank's books. I've read, I barely read. I read his books in like 5 seconds flat. I'm not just saying this to blow smoke up Frank's ass. I'm not. His books are brilliant. They're fucking hilarious. They're smart, and they're really well made, Frank. That's the other thing. I mean, a lot of people that self-publish, their books don't look as pristine. The packaging's really beautiful.
Well, I have a really good artist, Len Peralta, who designs them for me and helps me put them together. So, and
they're these crazy sci-fi books, like the one that I really loved. Well, I read the 2, and I didn't read the 3rd one. I think you have how many? You have a bunch of them. But
I have 5 out now.
Okay, so now I'm a bad friend. Anyway, so I read the one about the cats that sue him. What is that called? The cats?
That's called Cats v. Conniff, and that's about my cats suing me for defamation because I've exploited them on social media like crazy.
That's great.
I've built up my whole social media following just by posting pictures of my cats.
Oh yeah, well,
they're a little pissed about that.
These fucking cats get like a lot of likes. I could be like, I always joked about being completely naked, and Frank's cats will get like.
Well, my surviving cat Millie has been having medical problems, and when I post stuff about her, like just last night I posted something about how well she's doing. It's very heartwarming how excited people are to hear that, and they're so happy for her. And,
of course,
it's one of the things I like about social media is actually posting cat pictures. Might be my favorite thing about it.
Actually, I love your cat pictures too. I really do. I like to see pets. We're running out of time. It always, just as it's, I love this and I love you guys, but we're running out of time. So I want to make sure everybody has enough time to plug what they're working on. DC, I'm going to start with you, sweetie, and I'll link everything to your episode when it drops as well. Talk about like your
okay, I gotta be better at this shit. I'm terrible at it. So
do it.
At Real DC Benny is the Instagram, and I'll post everything.
Okay.
Album comes out September 29th. Special comes out October 6th. A supermarket sweep is going to air sometime in September or October.
Oh my God.
The story's on Mystery Tribune. It's called Where the Concrete Meets the Sand. And it's a little noir kind of cool thing. Let me plug all that shit. It's always
so what the fuck do you guys? Somebody call somebody call the fire department. DC's on fire. Gabby?
Too much. It's too much. I am working with another Gabby, and we are teaching children music.
I love this so
focusing
much.
on revolutionary protests songs from like 60s, 70s soul and like punk rock, 80s English, Bad Brains from, DC.
Amazing.
DC,
It's awesome.
they ended up being a New York band. So that's really fun. Yeah, it's really fun.
Amazing. You guys, I'm so sorry we ran out of time. I love you guys. Thank you so much for
Thanks
joining.
for coming. Great to see y'all.
See you guys.
Great to see you guys.
Bye.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Love you.
Love you.